Hello everybody and welcome to another reaction video, and I'd like to apologise to everybody for the lack of uploads in the last couple of days. As I said in a short video I uploaded yesterday, I had a bit of a personal emergency and I had to go out of town for a few days. As such, I was unable to record or produce any videos, but I'm back now, so we can start getting back into the roll of things and getting back to our regularly scheduled uploads. Now, today I am going to react to a track called Hush by Hellyeah. I'm sure most people know who Hellyeah are by now, but in case you don't, I'll pulled up some information for you. They are a heavy metal supergroup that were formed in Dallas, Texas in 2006. The two most consistent members of the band, they've been there from the conception of the band until up until now, are Chad Gray, the lead vocalist of Mudvayne, who I think actually has an exceptional voice. I love his voice and range, very good. And of course, Vinnie Paul of Pantera, who was the drummer of Pantera and unfortunately died earlier this year, I believe it was. Previous members of the band have included Greg Tribett from Autopsy, Jerry Montano from Nothing Face, and Bob Zilla from Damage Plan. So there you go, for those of you who didn't know, now you know. Anyway, as I haven't heard this song before, I had to do a little bit of research for it, and I came up with this. A singer of Hellyeah, Chad Gray, tells his personal experience growing up in a home with domestic violence. The purpose of this song is to help overcome the societal norm of keeping this a hidden subject and letting others know that they are not alone. Now, everybody who watches this channel knows I love songs with meaning, and this has a good meaning, and it is a meaning that is very personal to me. It's something I really can relate to, so this could end up being quite an emotional reaction for me. It has the potential to be, I'm not saying it will be. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. So I've got the lyrics up here. I'll do my usual and try and analyse them on the way through, and let's just get straight into it, I think.
You pray for quiet, inside your head the screams want silence. I remember those days, the terror that's the home, the fear that's in your bones, it just won't go away, no. The strangled holds, the insulting names, the wound up shirt around his fist, the nose-to-nose fist taking breath, thrown down onto the floor, so battered, bruised and sore, thrown down onto the bed, get back until you break your neck. Hell's where I was born, hell's where I was raised, this hell is where I'm from, and this hell is where I'll stay. The hush is all I need to hush the misery, the hush that belongs to me, like the hush inside a dream. Just be still and pray, and let the noise just fade away.
Ooh, Jesus Christ. This is quite a heavy track. No, not musically, but emotionally, and you know, the content of the song itself is damn heavy. wow. I've said before in other various tracks where musicians have spoken about, say, like drug addictions and like alcohol addictions, you know, those things are quite hard to talk about, but this sort of thing, especially in a personal experience, are immensely hard to talk about. I mean, he literally goes into explaining here the sort of things that he would go through. There's the lines there. It goes, the terror that's the home, the fear that's in your bones, it just won't go away. No. So the terror that's the home. It's like he's scared of his everyday life. Like you know, say he's at school, he's terrified to go home. You know, it's a bit backwards, because most times, you know, kids are scared to go to school because of bullying, but in this case he's scared to go home, to be in his own family home, because of the abuse that he'll be getting from either his mother or his father. It doesn't really specify which one's which. And then it goes on to detail the things like the strangleholds, the insulting names, the wound up shirt around his fist, the nose to nose beer stinking breath. So, you know, he's like saying, highlighting the things that happened to him, like being choked, like possibly held up against a wall and with a hand around the throat. The insulting names, you know, like maybe his mother or father, whoever it might be, will be sort of screaming at him, calling him a useless child, calling him a mistake, this, that and the other. Then there's the wound up shirt around the fist, which I can imagine is something that possibly used to try and hide or minimise bruising from beatings, and the nose to nose beer stinking breath. So it's like literally being so close in his face and screaming at him. And then thrown down on the floor, so battered, bruised and tossed, choked down into the bed, and thrash until you break your neck. So again, it's further, you know, highlighting the things that he had to deal with. It paints one hell of a picture. This does. I mean, we're only one verse in, and that is shocking. Then it goes into the pre-chorus here. Hell's where I was born, hell's where I was raised, this hell is where I'm from, and this hell is where I'll stay. So it's literally just saying, you know, I was born into this family, I was raised by this family. This is, you know, this horrible abusive environment is, you know, this is where I am from, this is me, and it will always be a part of me. And clearly he doesn't like that. And the chorus goes, the hush is all I need to hush the misery, the hush that belongs to me, like the hush inside a dream. Just be still and pray, and let the noise just fade away. So he's like, he craves the silence. He wants to not think about it. He wants to not remember it. He just wants that peace and quiet in his mind, in his heart, in the house. You know, he doesn't want to have to deal with this anymore, and he hopes that with that silence, the pain as itself will slowly disappear. So yeah, a very deep song, very heavy song. Yeah, let's carry on.
Locks up your heart like a secret closet, so no one can penetrate. We just can't stand the touch. Affection weighs too much. You push everyone away from the reckoning. The venom stings. We're so bad, I pick myself still with the beats from that belt. If this reminds you of home, you better know you're not alone. Hold the gun up to my head, I'll pull the trigger on myself. Hell's where I was born, hell's where I was raised.
song is really bloody powerful. I mean, like as I said at the beginning, you know, this song could potentially be quite impactful on me, and it really is. I mean, I was never, don't get me wrong, I was never abused by my family. I was abused by an ex-girlfriend of mine, and I think I've mentioned this before in a previous video. And you know, I've got friends who've been physically and emotionally abused by partners as well, and you know, I've had to, you know, and try and help them through it. So this is a very impactful song to me. It's hitting me quite hard. And the thing is, with Chad Gray's voice as well, he brings so much emotion into it, because this is one of the things I love about Chad Gray's voice. He can do the really soft vocals and the really harsh vocals, and in both of them he portrays so much emotion. It is amazing, and he really brings it forward here. It is absolutely amazing. And looking through the lyrics for that second verse there, it says, "Retain the violence locked up in your heart like a secret closet, so no one can penetrate." So that sounds to me like retaining, God's sake, retaining the violence locks up your heart like a secret closet. So that to me seems like, you know, he's afraid that because he was raised that way, he's going to end up being an abusive person like his father. And there's the line, so no one can penetrate, you know, locks up the heart like a secret closet, so no one can penetrate. So he's afraid of becoming an abusive person like that, whether it be a father, husband, what have you. He's afraid of that, so he basically closes himself off from everyone else, because he doesn't want to be that kind of person. Because he's scared. He doesn't want, you know, because he's scared he might turn out like that. It's horrible that, you know, abusive people can get away with this stuff, and it ruins the lives of the people that they project violence onto. And then it goes, "You just can't stand the touch. Affection weighs so much. You push everyone away." You know, being abused has its side effects. You know, you're scared of people touching you. Well, you know, not like terrified of people touching you, but you're worried that, you know, if someone puts their hand forward, like to touch you on the shoulder, or, you know, to give, even if it's, you know, just to give you a reassuring pat on the shoulder, you're afraid that that hand is going to come at you and give you a cloud. You know, like someone might one day say, you know, "I love you," but you don't want to believe it because you've heard it before, and that "I love you" was swiftly followed by a punch or an insult, or, you know, something or other that has made you ever doubt those words coming out of someone's mouth. They could be the most genuine person in the world, but because of the violence and abuse that you've been subjected to, that's been attached to that phrase, you're afraid of what it means now. And like you said, affection weighs so much because it's too much to deal with, you know, because they say "I love you." It's a lovely thing for anyone to hear. You know, it's great to hear it. I don't think there's anybody in the world that doesn't want to hear those words. But you hear the words "I love you" and you immediately think of everything that you've ever experienced negatively associated with it, and it really weighs down on you, trying to deal with it, trying to sift through it, and trying to, you know, trying to figure out if the person who has just said these wonderful words to you actually means it. It's a horrible thing to have to deal with. There's further down it goes, the reckonings The venom stings, whipped so bad I pissed myself. I still wear the beatings from that belt. So, you know, whipped so bad I pissed myself. You know, he was beaten with the belt so badly that, you know, he was so scared for himself that he literally wet himself. And he said, I still wear the beatings from that belt, so he's still clearly got scars, like whip scars on him from being hit. And this segment, these two lines, I really like this. If this reminds you of home, you better know you're not alone. And I've mentioned this in other videos that I've that I've, you know, spoken of abuse before, is that nobody is alone in these situations. You are not the only one that this ever happens to. So there are people you can reach out to, and you really should. You know, no one should live in fear of their life. You know, you are not alone. There are people out there who will understand you. They will help you. They will protect you. And I'm going to put some links below to various charities and helplines. So, like, if you are suffering with domestic abuse, or you know someone who is being abused, you can contact them and hopefully get the help that you so desperately need. He does then go on to say, hold a gun up to my head, I'll pull the trigger on myself. So that's like, sometimes people are put in such desperate situations by abuse like this that they just want to, you know, get rid of it. They don't want to have to deal with it anymore. It's too much for them. And as I've said again in previous videos, that is no one should ever feel that there is no way out. No one should ever think suicide is the answer. There are people that will help you, and if someone comes to you talking about it, it is vital that you help them, you know, as best you can. Carry on with the song. I don't think there's very much left now, so let's see how this finishes up.
Hush the misery, hush the velocity, like the hush inside a dream. Hell's where I was born, hell's where I was raised. This hell is where I'm from, and this hell is where I'll stay. The hush is all I need to hush the misery. The hush that belongs to me, like the hush inside a dream. Just be still and pray, and let the noise just fade away.
Well, I don't really know what more I could say on that song, because that is a shockingly powerful song. It is a shocking song in itself. It is unbelievable. I mean, like I've said before, it's hard for singers and stuff to talk about their personal issues in this way, and I appreciate when they do, because it takes a lot of, you know, it takes a lot out of you to talk about things like this. And domestic violence isn't okay by any stretch of imagination. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter what their excuse. It's not okay. I've seen some violent, disgusting things in the past. I've experienced violent, disgusting things, and I know friends that are suffering through this sort of thing, even currently, and it's not acceptable. And one thing we really need to get our heads around is the stigma involved in it, because all too often, you know, domestic violence for the most part is a man, father, husband, whoever, beating on a wife or child, or, you know, significant other. This is the one that you most hear of, and this is the one that most attention is focused on. But then there's the other side, and this is the side that I've experienced, where a female, you know, whether it be the wife, girlfriend, commits domestic violence against the husband, the boyfriend, whomever, and this one doesn't get the attention it deserves. Like I said, this is the one I myself have been through, and you're afraid to tell anybody about it because you get laughed at. You're like, this woman beat the living daylights out of me. She broke my jaw. She tried to strangle me. She made me scared for my life. And people turn around to you and go, "You let a woman beat you up?" I didn't let a woman beat me up. A woman beat me up. You know, they're like, "You should have just hit her." Now, maybe, but I, myself, I would never raise an angry hand to a woman. I never would. I never could. So, even though I'm being attacked, I'm not going to hit said woman because I know how it's going to happen. She's then going to phone the police, like my partner at the time did, and she got me arrested, claiming that I'd assaulted her. Now, even if I'd come out of there with a broken jaw, a bleeding lip, bruises around my neck from being strangled, if I had come out of there and she had a single bruise on her, I would have still been the one that got into trouble because it shows I attacked her. It shows I hit her. Even if it was in self-defense, that's not the point. The man is always seen as the aggressor. And when I was arrested, they even said this to me. Even if it's proved that she was the one that attacked me, the man is always the one that gets arrested because most of the time, the man is the aggressor. And that's unfair. You know, this stigma needs to go away. Women violently abuse men more than people know, and this needs to be stopped. All domestic abuse needs to be stopped, whether it's man on woman, woman on man, parents to children. It just needs to stop. I don't care who's doing it. I don't care what their pathetic excuses for doing it are. It needs to stop. And this is something I feel very passionately about because there is no excuse. There's no reason why anybody should hit anyone. There's no reason for violence anywhere, let alone in the home, with people you supposedly love, or people that supposedly love you. There's no excuse. Anyway, I'll stop that mad rant and get back to what I was talking about. Yeah, this song itself, powerful, phenomenal piece of music. I absolutely adore it. I almost cried because you read things like this, and if you're not, you know, affected by this, you know, if the actual meaning of the song doesn't affect you in any way, even if you're just sort of taken aback by the message of it, if you're just sitting there listening to it going, yeah, it's okay, you know, I think there's something fundamentally flawed, because if a song about domestic violence doesn't even have the smallest effect on you, this is such a powerful song. But I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to stop talking about it. As I said before, I'm going to put some links below to the helplines about domestic violence. And yeah, thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.
Hell's where I was born. Hell's where I was